Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Wednesday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for supporting us here on PLZ Soccer on our YouTube channel. In the studio with me, Tam McManus, Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson, all ready to talk Europa League, among other things that we have on the agenda today. Obviously, we'll discuss Rangers on tomorrow night's programme because of the timing of our broadcast today. But we'll discuss in detail the 90 minutes of Braga against Rangers on tomorrow's YouTube programme. But tonight, it's all about looking ahead to Celtic at home against Copenhagen. It is a great opportunity to go one stage further in this one, Roughie. And on the evidence of the first leg, are you confident Celtic can do it over the 90 minutes at home?
Yeah, you would think so. It was a nervy last 15 minutes, but you would expect that away from home, that the home team would have some amount of pressure. The record that Celtic have got at home is excellent in European football. They don't tend to win 3-4-0 because they're always tense affairs. So I think the sooner the first goal goes in, I think a lot of people will feel more confident that they'll win the game.
Tam McManus, how significant is the return of the captain?
I think it's huge. I think Scott Brown's been a linchpin for Celtic for a number of years now. I think particularly in Europe, it's a camera influence in the middle of the pitch, and it's good to have him back. Obviously missed a game at the weekend against Kilmarnock, but he'll come back into the team no doubt and captain it again, and he's a huge player. He has been for a number of years for Celtic.
It's one of those situations, you know, if he's not leading by example, he's actually making sure that others around him play. That was something that you did to great effect when you were the Rangers captain. You can't necessarily play great every week.
No, look, some days or some games he might be off it, but listen, one thing about him, the players around about him look up to him, and he's always, if he's not having a good game, he's driving other players round about him on. So no, I'm sure Celtic will be delighted, Neil Lennon will be delighted, and I'm sure the players will be delighted that their captain's back.
Yeah, and also there's players all across the pitch that can contribute with goals. One of them is Christopher Julian. He's been more than a menace in the box from set pieces, and he reckons this one is huge.
I think it is the best when you see like you say, the last 16 of Europa League. Play in Europe was just a goal that I had in a corner and in my head since a long time, and play now in Europe with this team, with this club, achieve that, and going through the next stage would be just perfect, and to just share it, you know, with my teammates, with the club, with the staff, with everything would be unbelievable.
Well, when you look at the scouting network on this, Roughie, he's come in there. He can pose a threat from a set piece as well. There's a few shaky moments at the back, but overall, he's in a Celtic side that seems to have goals all over the place.
Yeah, particularly in midfield. The midfielders do go up and support the front player or front two. They all like to have a shot at goal, which is always good, because when your strikers aren't scoring goals, you need your midfielders to chip in with a few, and that's what's been happening this year. They're all oozing of confidence.
Yep, and of course, home advantage key for the Celtic manager, Neil Lennon.
Yeah, they're quietly confident. You know, they're at home, their home record's good, but there'll be no complacency or taking anything for granted. There was much between the teams in the throes of the game, so yeah, the tie's still there for both teams.
Yeah, so home advantage, and again, it's a contrast, because we're talking about a team that a year ago under Brendan Rodgers, it was a different situation in European football, but suddenly again there's a belief that seems to have returned to Celtic under Neil Lennon. What's the change in your mind, Tam?
I think it's a different style of play. I think under Brendan Rodgers with Celtic were one-dimensional. You know, there was pass out from the back. You know, and if teams press Celtic, you know, high up the pitch, especially with a bit of quality, they were catching Celtic out all the time. Obviously the Barcelona games and the PSG games are two big examples of that. I think Neil Lennon's Celtic team are more direct, but they don't just punt it forward. You know, but they get it forward, they get it into the wings and they get it in the box. And they're playing with two strikers, and if you get the ball in the box with two strikers, you're going to score goals. So I think that's been the main change, changing the formation and changing the style of play and going a little bit more direct. And you're seeing with Edouard and Griffiths, both of them are flying with goals just now. And I can see that continuing again tomorrow night.
Yeah, and the manager keen not just to take all the credit for this, he's spreading it right across the backroom staff and, of course, the players taking to the pitch.
I'm delighted with the way things have gone. I'm really proud of the team, and I'm really proud of the style of football that they're playing at the minute. So, every one of them has made a positive contribution this season. So, again, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet here. It's a team effort, and everyone's played their part.
Well, that was one of those guys that looked at Neil Lennon as possibly the only man that could come in and help Celtic over that difficult transition. And suddenly, he's had to make signings. He's had to look in one of those momentous years and try and keep the whole bandwagon rolling towards their goal of 9 in a row. He seems to have managed to do that.
Yeah, I think it was a surprise for a lot of the Celtic fans that they brought him back. But I've always liked his management style. I think he suits Celtic. And since he's come in, Peter, I actually think they're better to watch under Neil Lennon than they are when they were under, Brendan Rodgers. As Tam says, they are more direct, but they get the ball forward at the right times, in the right areas, and they always look a threat going forward. And the good thing about them, and he's not just plan A, plan B as well. He can change the system up, which a lot of teams can't.
Yep, and if you want a comparison with the stats, here's Rodgers or Lennon. Let's not kid ourselves, Tam. There were a few Celtic fans who didn't think this was the right move.
Absolutely. I think the knives are out for Neil Lennon pretty early, to be honest with you. I think when Celtic lost to Rangers just before the break, knives were back out again for Neil Lennon. So I think he's had to keep winning. I don't think he's had the universal support of all the Celtic fans since he joined. I think now he's starting to get the whole Celtic support behind him. And I think that's just came from winning games. And you look at his record there, his record's been tremendous, especially coming back from a split, won every game. And I think if he can go in and win the treble again this season, I think you'll find that every Celtic fan, even the ones that doubted him, will be saying, by the way, fair play to you, Neil, you are the man for the job.
Yeah, and again, it's such a huge week, not only for Celtic, but for Rangers as well, Roughie, because we're in a week where Europa League's one thing, and I don't think even the most ardent of Old Firm fan will look and think that, Celtic and Rangers could go on and win the Europa League. I might be doing a disservice to the absolute fanatic, but then suddenly you've got this situation where Neil Lennon is chasing a quadruple treble now with St Johnstone on the horizon in the Scottish Cup.
Yeah, I mean, on the face of it, obviously since the turn, they look odds-on candidates to win the league, and they're always there or thereabouts in the cup run. So, yeah, everything's going well. I mean, there hasn't been many. I think the Rangers game that Tam touched on is the only hiccup that's been there. But the style of football's been good, and even at the weekend when Kilmarnock scored, I don't think there was even a panic. I don't think they panic when they go behind because they know they've got players, as we touched on, in midfield and up front who'll get chances and generally put them away. So for me, they seem to be in total control of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, and again, a number of Rangers and Celtic fans might look and say, well, look at the scalps that they've taken in the Europa League. Well, we pay credit to them when they do pull off fantastic results, but here's a look at the fixtures. Here's a look at the teams that are in this Europa League, Barry, and there's some teams there with a really good pedigree. You only have to look. Manchester United, won the Europa League in the last few years under Mourinho. Arsenal are in there as well. Wolves are no mean feat either when you consider the quality of players they have at their disposal.
Well, you never know. I mean, there is good quality teams. It's not obviously as strong as the Champions League. And I'm not saying that neither Rangers or Celtic can't win it. It'll be difficult for them. But I think both can get through into the next round without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Tam?
I think it would be difficult for Rangers. I think they've got the harder game. I wouldn't expect Celtic to slip up tomorrow night against Copenhagen. I can see them going through, but I think it'll be a difficult game for Rangers. Hopefully they do go through, but...
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, apologies to anyone who doesn't realise that, certainly as Tam and Barry don't, that this is going out right at the point that Braga and Rangers will discuss it tomorrow night on the programme, and then we'll obviously discuss the Scottish Cup. But you'll get that anyway once you realise it. Over and above that, listen, that was the teams involving the British clubs, Roughie, but I look at the teams that are involved everywhere across this division, and again, never mind looking at the British teams that are in it. Some of the teams that are involved in this, Basel, Porto, Sporting Lisbon as well, Benfica, Shakhtar Donetsk. I'm going through teams that all, even Cluj, they've all got huge spending power. Let's not forget Ajax, who were a whisker away from making the Champions League final last year.
Yeah, a lot of teams that Celtic have played before in other years and other competitions, so you would actually think that when you look at the results that they played against them, that they would fancy their chances. But you're right, but you keep harping on about, if you look at the Europa Cup 16 and you look at the Champions League 16, there's a vast difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a crime not to rate the Europa League, to be honest with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I always look to you guys, and you guys are aficionados of football, and you love your football. What was the overriding emotion from you in the quarter-finals last year at the Europa League? What tie stood out for you, Tam? And that's my point. Semi-finals of the Europa League, which one sticks in your mind?
I can't even tell you who was in the final. But look, the best competition is the Champions League. That's where the top teams are, and that's where you want the Scottish teams to try and get to. You know what I mean? Playing the Champions League, I'm not saying they're ever going to get the last 16 or last 32.
Well, are you heartened by the fact that now Celtic and a number of European clubs are trying to put forward a plan that hopefully UEFA will embrace, which doesn't just favour the big five nations? There's now a real suggestion that there could be a format which takes into consideration the smaller nations' performances over the last 10 years, which would then reduce the number of qualifiers that they will play. Because I think it's a real injustice to get the likes of Ajax, the likes of Celtic, possibly Rangers, other teams out with the big five leagues who have to play so many qualifiers.
I think it's ridiculous, Peter, that you've got to play 4 qualifiers to actually qualify for the Champions League. But I'm with you. I think it's good that if they can. I mean, it's great that Rangers and Celtic have done well over the last few years. As you say, it might allow us to get a couple of teams in the Champions League. But for me, the winner of your National League should go straight in.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think you'll get any disagreement from any of the panel on that one. Domestically, St Mirren came up with a big win. It was a big win for St Mirren, let's not forget about that. But over and above that, it really heaped the pressure on Hearts, Tam. You think Hearts are gone?
I think Hearts are going to go down this season. I really do. I thought when Stendhal came in, they get a boost. Obviously, they beat Rangers, but I think that's their only league win so far, beating Rangers. He's playing a style of play that it takes time to bed in. They're pressing high, and they're playing a high line. That doesn't come overnight. I think they're leaving it too late. I think they should have just went with a steady pair of hands, somebody to keep them up, and then maybe look at it again next season. I think Hearts are going down. I really do, and I don't want them to go down. People will think ex-Hibs player, you want Hearts to go down. Certainly don't want one of our biggest clubs to go down, and the derbies to be out the window. But I just don't see it. I think Hamilton Accies are, I've said it before, they're like a cockroach that never dies. They just, a couple of years, they're always there, they always survive. And I think they might just pull it off this season again, and I think St Mirren will be fine.
Yeah, apologies to Hamilton Accies. It's not exactly the opening video scene when you're just panning around New Douglas Park. It's like the cockroach that never dies. Come and support the Accies this season.
It could have been worse. It could have been the rat. You could have
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've got it in for everybody. Well, one positive I have to say, trust you to bring that up. One positive that I have to mention, Roughie, is the fact that although Motherwell lost the game, and again, we've been discussing it, you can't pick Motherwell. You never know what you're going to get from them. Even Motherwell and Aberdeen don't seem to want to finish third. They keep losing games. But the one positive out of last night, David Turnbull returning to action.
So I saw him coming on the park, and you could really feel for him. His head must have been through everything there is to go through as a footballer to have, what was it, 3.2 million? a transfer turned down? Was it something like that? You know, and having to get your head round that it's the day before it's going to go through and all that stuff. So all credit to the boy for getting his head down and getting back onto the park, and let's hope we can fulfil the way he was playing before he stopped.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it, Barry? You want him to be the player that attracted so much interest.
Yeah, but I hope it is. I hope he just goes and gets a run of games now. He's definitely got the talent, Peter. I said that when Celtic were interested in him. I'd seen him a number of times. He's got a lot going for him. So hopefully he's over his injury problems. He gets back playing week in, week out, and I'm sure if he performs the way he did before, he'll get that big move again.
Lots more to talk about on the programme after we tell you about this exciting competition.
We are off to the Etihad for Manchester City versus Real Madrid, and you and a friend could be joining us by entering our fabulous competition.
We're going to the Champions League. Are you coming? It's luxury travel to Manchester City, Real Madrid. It's tickets to the game and a couple of special guests to keep you company.
You and a friend could be joining us if you enter this fabulous competition.
To be in with a chance of winning, just answer this simple question.
Name Manchester City's all-time top goal scorer. Is it A, Sergio Aguero, B, Raheem Sterling, C, Kevin De Bruyne? Submit your answer below and you and a friend could be on your way with our special guests to Manchester City versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. Enter now and good luck.
Yes, don't forget, as Roughie and Barry mentioned there, you could join us for the Champions League.
Barry,
you're doing one next, by the way.
I've told you, Barry De Villiers for chewing the fat.
He's actually doing... Listen, fair play to you. I'm telling you, I love the fact he embraces everything now, Roughie. He's absolutely magnificent. Although, I have to say to you, we've got an absolute belter of a video coming up that we're going to show of Darren. Darren has been now involved in our next competition coming up, which I'm only going to tease you with. You know that PLZ Soccer, we like to give you how-wit surprises, and the car, Can You Kick It? It's coming back, Roughie. I'm really looking forward to that, as well as going to the Champions League. We're giving you the chance to win a car. It's fabulous.
I think the whole card day is the guy or the woman who wins it. It means everything to them. It's just the way they just can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, if these two get their act together, it might be a footballer who kicks the ball through the window.
Windy for me, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, not only that, but I mean,
it's a double-decker bus for him.
It's a good point you make there. It's a simple process of basically, we're going to get all the boys to mention the catchphrase, Can You Kick It? And if you can kick it, or you want one of our former professional footballers to kick it, you could be in with a chance of winning a car. All I'm going to say to you is in the next couple of days, we're going to release Darren, who is Al Pacino. It's as simple as that. If you think you're getting pelters, wait till you see Darren's effort at our Can You Kick It competition. Anyway, lots more to talk about, including, of course, Niall McGinn, the latest to come out and say that he wants to lift the Scottish Cup with Aberdeen. Well, I have to say to you, if a £10 bet free, I would not bet on Aberdeen or Motherwell. I just don't know what they can produce that suggests they could win anything.
Nah, I don't see it. Listen, you've got to come out and be confident and I think they're going to try and win it, but I just think Celtic and Rangers are too strong for the other teams. I think competitions could come back and haunt me. Obviously Rangers have got a tough one at the weekend, but I just think that I can't see by Celtic or Rangers lifting the Scottish Cup this season. Yeah, no discredit to Aberdeen, because I'm a big fan of Derek, and I've mentioned that in the last couple of weeks. I think he's the man for the job, but I just think they're erratic this season. That's why I just can't see them winning it.
Yeah, it's been consistency from everybody underneath Rangers and Celtic. That's why they're all going 7 games without winning a game and not even moving anywhere. They've all had good parts of the season. I think these teams would just be looking to get to a final. If they can stay out the road of Rangers and Celtic and take their supporters to a cup final, that just could be their year.
Yeah, Roughie, just before we go, and Tam, you can give us your tuppence worth on this as well. Ron Gorton obviously is going to speak to Hibs fans at the AGM and give them the vision for the future for Hibs. Are you optimistic? They've got a profit with obviously the sale of John McGinn. Are you optimistic that it could be, a bright future for Hibs?
Yeah, I think Jack Ross has shown, he's got an eye for a player, and there have been good moments in the season, but I think he'll be looking for more consistency as well. But the crowds are starting to come back. Numbers, I think it was 15,000 at the other game, but you need to start winning games consistently to get that up.
Yeah, in the city, you know what it's like. I lived there for a long time, Tam. Two sides, they gauge against each other before looking at the overall picture of the league. Hibs, 5.5 million in the bank, no debt. And a manager that could have been wearing maroon.
He could have been. A lot of the Hearts fans were somehow not wanting Jack Ross. I don't understand that one. And Hibs could actually go 21 points ahead of them with a win next Tuesday. I just thought I would throw that one in as well. But listen, I think Hibs are the top dogs just now in Edinburgh, and they have been for a number of years, and it's no sign of changing.
Yep, okay. Thanks to Tam, who again continues to wear gear that leaves us all totally and utterly bemused. But we'll have a strong one with him as we move on to tell you about. Hold on, calm down. I'll let you speak in a second. Don't forget to give us your thoughts, not only in Tam's gear, but football on our social media across Twitter, Facebook, and let's not forget, as well as Facebook Live 5 days a week, you can join us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you go onto the YouTube channel, you can get details of how you can join us. We're all heading down to the Etihad for Manchester City against Real Madrid. It is the trip of a lifetime for you and a friend. Good luck with the competition. Download our app and you'll get it all at your fingertips. It's as simple as that. Roughie, last word from you?
No, I was just going to say I never got the text to say we're going 10-pin bowling tonight.
And on that note, from Roughie, from Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.